routes. Hello everyone, I'm Ethan Lee. Thanks for coming back.
In the last video, so many of you commented, debated fiercely about the foundational principle we discussed.
Humans respond to rewards and punishments.
I've read them all. Some said it was too simple, others found it too cold to apply to life. And I get that. But today, with all my sincerity, I want to admit a truth. That principle is anything but simple.
It's complex, and it governs our lives in ways you can't even imagine. And it is absolutely real.
So, in this video, we're gonna go further. Much further. The video will have two main parts.
In part 1, we'll dissect how the reward-punishment rule quietly determines your love life and marriage.
And in part 2, the most important and intense part, we'll use it to confront one of the most
Difficult questions about morality and justice.
And I have to say, part 2 on justice is even more important than part 1. It will challenge many of our established beliefs about how society works, so make sure you watch until the end.
So, what really is the reward-punishment rule?
Forget the complete definitions. Let's compare it to active and passive income.
Active income is you go to work, you get paid. That's a direct reward for your effort.
But the reward-punishment rule in behavior is much deeper. It's the unconscious operating system of the brain.
Nobel-winning economist Daniel Kahneman showed that our brains are constantly calculating potential rewards and punishments before every single decision, no matter how small.
It governs everything, from who you choose to love to how society decides who deserves to live and who must die.
And this video isn't about policy or business. We'll focus on the deepest aspects for each of us.
Love and morality.
Let's start with the first aspect, where this principle manifests most subtly and powerfully: love and marriage.
Let's begin with a very personal question. Why did you choose that person? The answer is probably because I love them.
It sounds beautiful, so pure. But if we look closer through the lens of behavioral science,
Love also follows the law of reward and punishment.
When you're in love, your brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, hormones that create pleasure and bonding.
This is the most powerful biological reward nature has to offer. Just one caring text, one gentle touch, and the brain immediately registers. Ah, this action brings a reward.
Let's do it again.
Conversely, when that person is cold or distant, your brain perceives that as a punishment.
Many of you might immediately object, calling this a cold, calculated view that cheapens love.
But I don't think so. This isn't you consciously calculating. It's an unconscious survival mechanism.
Evolutionary psychologists like David Buss have shown that in mate selection, humans are always calculating expected value.
Shawn Mendes acompañada por Ney, la película fue subvencionada por el Instituto de Cine Australiano.
Someone who chooses a stable partner is optimizing for the reward of safety.
Another who picks a bold, charismatic person is seeking the reward of intense emotion.
To make this more practical, let's look at a concrete example. A 2024 Stanford University study analyzed 1.2 million dating app users. The results showed that users with high incomes, good education, and refined communication
received 4 times the amount of responses. This is a social reward.
Conversely, those who were unstable or negative were punished by being quickly filtered out.
In other words, the reward-punishment mechanism is running even when we think we're acting on pure emotion.
And what's the upside of this? It makes people learn to become more attractive, more trustworthy, more responsible.
Because that's the only path to receiving the true reward of love.
And now, we come to the second aspect, the most intense and controversial part I promised.
Where punishment becomes the foundation of morality and justice.
Let's confront the question. Does the death penalty actually deter the crime of murder?
The initial idea of any legal system is simple. The harsher the punishment, the more people will fear it, and crime will decrease.
Seems logical, right?
But a 2024 Cambridge University study issued a critical warning.
87% of murders are committed in a state of intense emotion, a loss of control.
And 92% of perpetrators do not think about the punishment while committing the act.
So the death penalty, no matter how severe, has no effect if people aren't aware of it when making the decision.
So how do we know if it's effective? Let's look at the real marketplaces, the comparative data between nations. According to a 2025 report from the World Institute for Economics and Justice,
homicide rates in countries with the death penalty, like the US and Iran, are not significantly lower than in abolitionist countries like Canada or Norway.
Why? Why? The formula isn't about the level of punishment. It lies in Daniel Kahneman's prospect theory.
The effectiveness of crim deterrence does not lie in the severity of the punishment,
but in the certainty of being punished.
Simply put, a light but 100% certain punishment is a stronger deterrent than a severe punishment with a chance of escape.
What's the crucial advice here? Instead of demanding more brutal punishments,
a civilized society should demand a justice system where no crime can escape accountability.
So today, we've journeyed from biological reactions in love to grand debates on justice, all through the lens of the reward-punishment rule.
We realize we can't escape this rule, but we can absolutely choose how to design it.
In love, use it to nurture your relationship. In society, demand the certainty of justice over the brutality of punishment.
And this leads us to an even bigger question, an idea I think is even more intense than today's video.
In the next video, we will dive deep into the paradox of freedom.
If all our actions are governed by reward and punishment, does free will truly exist? Or is it just a sophisticated illusion created by the brain?
This will be the very core, the most fundamental part of this entire video series.
If you don't want to miss that journey, make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell right now.
And my final piece of advice, don't just watch this video once. Dig deeper, Reflect on how this rule is operating in your own life. Because when you understand the mechanism that controls you, that's when you truly begin to master it.
A mature person understands that sometimes giving up a reward
and accepting a punishment for a higher ideal, that is true freedom. Thank you for watching this far.
I'm Ethan Lee. I'll see you in the next part of this journey.
The choices we make
are guided by invisible forces.
Understanding them is the first step. Mastering them is the goal. Don't.
In love, it dictates connection.
A reward for vulnerability.
In justice, it demands balance.
A punishment of certainty.
The rule is universal.
But our application of it defines us.
Continue to question.
Continue to learn.
And build a better system.
For yourself and for everyone.
The next step of the journey will challenge everything.
Prepare yourself.
In today's dynamic market, confidence isn't just an attitude, it's an asset. We analyze the variables so you can execute the strategy.
Thank you for watching.
A mature person understands that sometimes giving up a reward and accepting a punishment for a higher ideal.
Give me that tea. That is true freedom.
I'm Ethan Lee. I'll see you in the next part of this journey. Understanding the market dynamics is key to success in this sector. Join us for the full analysis in